With Irish Show. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks, to a Notre Dame versus USC with everything on the line. The exact way this rivalry was always meant to be played. Edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Yanni out as well. Notifications on. You don't miss a thing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or Always Irishing. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it. If you don't want to see my silly face, who could blame you for that? Do the audio only anywhere you get your podcast. Call in lines 312-900-8815. You dialed up. Tell Yanni all you've heard and seen. ND on SI. Something for you every single day of your life. Read all about it. Patreon.com/Always Irish. All-star team over there. Just, we have such a great group. It's fantastic. All the film breakdowns, the boards, everything we got going on. It's great. Thank you. Link in description. Thanks for being there. All right. Here we are. Let's start here. I'm recording this Sunday morning right when I get up. Okay. After the NC State game, Sunday morning when I get up, I opened my phone and I got like a dozen texts from people saying, after seeing how we played since the first 2 weeks and then seeing how USC's played and what happened with them in Michigan last night, you think we could beat them? Well, I certainly do, but only if you do certain things better than you're doing them. And I'm sorry if I have a little edge to me or whatever. I'm over NC State, and I'm ready for USC already. And I ain't messing around. I thought maybe I could get a couple days in of like enjoying the NC State win, and then we turn the page to USC. Nope. All it took was for me to wake up one night of sleep, and it's USC, and it's everything on the line. So here you were. After the first 2 games of failure, you knew you had to win out to even have a chance at sniffing this playoff. After 4 wins in a row, here we are. And you're about to enter Notre Dame's last real shot in the regular season to shine in prime time. Oh, John, the Navy game's in prime time. That's not what I mean, and you know what I mean. This is your last chance in the regular season to shine in prime time. It ain't Navy at home. And I know you know what I mean. I know you know it's different. It's more than about what time the game comes on. It's about who you're playing and what it's for. This game is literally your entire season. This is it. If you lose, the year is a failure, and it can only be looked up as developmental for the young guys in CJ Carr, and that's it. No playoff means you have 3 losses, and the death knell is coming from a home loss to USC. It can't happen. It can't be. I know the Notre Dame players have got to still be frustrated about how the first 2 games went. So frustrated. The way the fans and the media are, I know these guys are still frustrated about how those games went. This USC game in prime time is your chance to show you aren't that team everybody saw and made fun of the first 2 games. Bottle all of that frustration up and take it out on USC. So I woke up to all those texts. What do you think about the matchup with us and USC? Can we beat these guys or what? You know, the other question I got a lot via text was, how much of this was USC is pretty good and Michigan's not as good? Like how do you, is it USC's good and Michigan's bad? Or like, what is it? It's probably a little bit of both. Michigan's in kind of a rebuilding mode with the young quarterback and all that. And I think USC's pretty decent. They'll beat you if you don't play well. They're not perfect. This ain't Pete Carroll, USC, Reggie Bush coming to town. Don't get it twisted. But if Notre Dame doesn't do some things better than the way they've been doing them, that's how you lose at home to USC. And that's what we're going to get into next. So I think the reality of USC Michigan is somewhere in between. USC's probably pretty good, and Michigan's probably not as good as they want to be. And the truth lies somewhere in the middle. So what does Notre Dame have to do to beat USC? Number one, the defense has really tightened up lately. You can't complain about giving up 7 points to these teams, 13 points on the road in the SEC. You can't complain about that. That is drastic improvement over where you were the first 2.5 games. Drastic, night and day improvement. That being said, you still got to play better to beat USC, I think, and slow that offense down enough. You got to keep the turnovers coming, steal a couple possessions, stop the run, and I think most critically is you got to limit what you give up in the pass game to USC if you're Notre Dame. You cannot afford mega yards after catch, mega yards after first contact. And God help us, you can't have secondary players turning themselves around into a pretzel and falling down and the guy's wide open. What you can't have it. You can't have it. You've been able to have some of that stuff and still beat these teams down and hold the score down the last few games. I don't think you're going to be able to do that against USC. So I just no yards after contact, limit yards after catch. And you just can't give up these big chunks where you fall down and it's a 60-yard pass. You can't do that and then think you're going to beat USC. So for as good as the defense has been the last few weeks, I need you to tighten it up even more. When deep balls are thrown, Notre Dame's got to be good against USC. You can't be falling down, turning into a pretzel, and you just can't. You can't. And so while I like what they've done defensively, and Ash deserves credit, like people are asking, is the Notre Dame defense back? Well, talk to me after the USC game, and I'll have a definitive answer. I don't need to give you an answer right now. Talk to me after that game. I'll have your answer. So that's what I need on defense, man. There just can't be these mistakes. You know, you don't get a guy down after first contact and he gains 28 yards on you, or guys falling down the secondary, wide open pat. You can't have it. You can't have it. On offense, you cannot have empty drives against USC and think you're going to win. Who do you think you are? You can't do it. You get in the red zone and you stall. You can't get it on 3rd and 4th and short or on the goal line or whatever. You get no points. Turnovers going into the end zone. You fumble it. You're going to lose to USC if you do that. You got to tighten it up. Tighten it up. Denbrock, whatever you've been looking at in them short yardage things, that you better come up with a different plan against USC. No more a wildcat. No more whatever it was you did against NC State. You better figure out a fresh plan, bro, because it ain't working what we've been doing. Don't overthink it. So if ever there was a moment where you need Carr to have his A game and hit on the chances he's given, USC is it. I'm not riding the guy. He's been fine. He's played way better than I thought he would as a rookie, especially early in the year with all the defense not able to help you, being a liability. He's done as good as anybody could expect. His non-sharp, non-A game performance have been plenty good to beat the teams we've been playing by multiple scores. I don't think you're going to have that luxury this week. He's going to have to be sharp and have one of those A games where he's hitting on chances. This is what the Notre Dame USC rivalry is all about. Both teams feeling good for themselves with a playoff spot on the line in prime time. This is Notre Dame's chance at redemption after games 1 and 2. Notre Dame can win, but only if they do all the things on this list. So to recap, The defense, I need you to limit any of these passing chunk plays, confusion on the back end. A guy falls down, twisted in a pretzel, gets exposed. I can't have it against USC. You just got to tighten it up, man. You got to tighten it up. On offense, you can't have these empty drives. You need to hit your chances when you get them. You need 7s, not 3s, and you need to hold USC to 3s and not 7s. That's what I need you to do. And it's like these warm-up games, Boise and even Arkansas ended up in Purdue and NC State or whatever. Like, you've been able to have mistakes and still win by a few scores or more. Like, you don't have that ability to do that this week. It's just everything's got to be a tighter operation. I always talk about margin. How much margin do you have to mess around and still win? Games 1 and 2, Notre Dame had almost no margin to not be really good and win, and they lost both games close. In the rest of the games, you had a wide margin to not be perfect and still win, and you did that. Now you're going back to very, very tiny margins. After 4 reboot warm-up games or whatever, it's time to put a more polished product on the field at home against USC. Defense, maintain that momentum, limit the big plays, get your turnovers, whatever. And that offense has got to be more efficient. You got to convert drives into touchdowns. 3s are not good enough, and 0s will get you beat against USC. It all needs to tighten up. For the players, this is why you come to Notre Dame, man. You got a chip on your shoulder after those first 2 games. Now you got a chance in primetime to show this is who we are. That wasn't who we are. Those guys got to have a fire in their belly to get after it on this one. The season is on the line in prime time. Who rises and who folds? It's Notre Dame USC the way it's always meant to be. Let me know what you think.